Hi, today we're going to talk about using individual interim questions for class discussion. So historically, in order to see interim questions, they had to be looked at through AVA, the assessment viewing application, and this showed questions similar to how students would see them on the test. It unfortunately did not provide any additional information about the item. So when you're looking at it, you couldn't see how difficult the item was, what depth of knowledge it attended to, or the answer key for that item. Now we have the interim assessment item portal, and it allows us to select different interim questions across or within an interim, and we can then see how difficult it is, the depth of knowledge that it covers, as well as the answer key attended to it. In order to get there, the first thing you need to do is to log into Tools for Teachers, which can be done in the WCAP portal. Once you're in there, you want to select Interim Assessment Item Portal on the left-hand side of the landing page of Tools for Teachers. And then once you land on that landing page, there's a blue button underneath the video that says View Interim Items, and that will take you into the Interim Assessment Item Portal itself. Now, in order to select those items, the first thing that must be done is picking a grade and then a content, ELA versus math. And then after that, there's options. You can choose to look at items or questions by the interim assessment block, or you can choose to look at them by claim. So our ELA claims are reading, writing, listening, research, and inquiry, and our math claims are concepts and procedures, so looking at content, and then problem solving, communicating, reasoning, and modeling and data analysis, where we're still looking at content, but we're looking at it through the standards for mathematical practice. If you're wanting to look at items across interims, the most advantageous approach would be to select a claim. So let's go ahead and jump into the interim assessment item portal and check it out. So right now I'm looking at grade 7. Let's say I want to switch it to grade 8 and I want to look at mathematics. We can see that we have our claims right here: concepts and procedures, problem solving, communicating, reasoning, and modeling, data analysis. If I click on concepts and procedures, I see all of the grade 8 claims. And if I click on any of these other ones, I see that they switch to math practice. So I want to look at the content standards. So I'm going to select this. Let's say I want to look at the geometry standards. So I can see that I'm in the geometry standards and I have several items in here to look at. There's 7 different items that I could select. It's important to note that if I was in a classroom, I could click anywhere on this tile and I'd be able to see a preview of that item, and it would let me see the question and the different answer options if it was a multiple choice kind of option. Because this is, the items are semi-secure and they can't leave the classroom, they can't be published to a website, they can't be sent home as worksheets, I can't show you the question. But if this question in particular attended to my need, I can click the select to print option. One more note is the difference between DOK and difficulty. Depth of knowledge attends to knowing, understanding, applying, evaluating, and creating knowledge, whereas difficulty is a statistical relationship of how challenging the problem was for students when they participated in it in field testing. So we can see that this item right here in the middle on the top is DOK2, and the item in the middle on the bottom is also DOK2. But the one on the top was moderately difficult and the one on the bottom was difficult, meaning the one on the bottom, statistically, more students found it challenging and less students got that answer correct, whereas something that was more moderate was more middle of the road. If it were to say easy, that would be a statistically easier problem that more students would get correct. So that's a difference between DOK and difficulty that needs to be kept in mind when selecting items. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one right here, middle on the top. I'm going to select this moderate DOK1 on the side, and we're going to also do this one on the bottom. But maybe I want to do some more geometry than just this standard. So let's go ahead and add another standard here. Let's add the second geometry 2, and I get one option. I'm going to add that. That attends to what I need. And so now I have 4 geometry items in my cart, and I'm going to go ahead and say print cart. So we can see that because I was able to select things by standard, I was able to pick them across different interim assessment blocks. And if I want to change the order a little bit, I can. There's arrows on the side, so I can move different items up and I can move different items down. so that it's in an arrangement that I like. And this is where I want to be, so I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And then before I see what I've generated, I have additional options that I could select that'll provide additional resources for my students. So I can select Spanish and English if that attends to different student needs, as well as having different translation glossaries available, as well as illustration glossaries. And before I print it, I have 3 different print options. One is just the questions. Another one is the answer key only. And then the third one is the answer key and the items, the questions. I'm going to go with that one because that attends to what I need for my class. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit print to PDF. And in about a minute, it'll create a PDF of all the things that I've selected and in the order that I've selected them so that I can kind of see how everything works out. And so here we are. I can only show you this first page because the items are semi-secure, but you can see this first page shows me the question name, the number question it is within that test, the answer key, the standard, the DOK, and the difficulty. And if this attends to what I need, I'm going to go ahead and hit download PDF. And now I have a copy of this that I can use in my class. So that is the portal itself. So if I want to use this in my classroom, one thing that I can do is I can select a question from within an interim or cross interims, and I can post that for my students to see it, whether it's in person or within a synchronous online class. And I post it so that the answer options are not shown. This provides an opportunity for the students to kind of look at the question and evaluate what it's asking and to discuss it and allowing me to hear what students are thinking. And I can have students kind of unpack their thinking and then work their way towards an answer, whether that's individual answers or small group or a whole class answer. Once those answers are generated, I can then show the answer responses that come with the question if it's multiple choice or multiple select. And then as a class, we can unpack, well, why is one particular answer correct? And why is another particular answer maybe not correct? And allow us to kind of attend to what that question is really getting at and even what the answer options are getting at. As well as if it's a different type of question that's not multiple choice or multiple select, we as a class or as groups of students can think about what's the best way to approach this item and think about how I would put my answer in. So this is a brief IAIP training in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us, but I hope this presentation was helpful to your needs today. Thank you.